This episode is brought to you by my mentoring. So if you have been listening to my previous episodes, I have dropped it a little bit, but I'm so excited to announce that I am going to be a mentor as part of the Conscious Blueprint. So this is a 8-week mentor program, and I am so honored and proud of myself to announce that I'm going to be an official mentor as part of this program. I still honestly can't believe it. It starts on November 1st, so less than 1 month away. I'll include all the details in the description of this video. But if you're interested in upleveling your mindset, your health, your wellness, your fitness, your spirituality, if you're wanting to gain a closer connection to yourself, if you're wanting to work on yourself and invest in your self-development, then this is the course for you. I did this back in March, and the results I saw were honestly so transformative. I created so many connections and friendships with people, first of all, which I think is insane. I have such good friends all over the country now. I created such a closer connection to myself. I was so inspired by everybody in this program. I learned something from so many people, and you don't just get one thing from this course, you get it back tenfold. Like I've always said this, like self-investment is the key to getting to your next level. It's how we learn. We learn best when we learn from people and working closely with people. Traditional education can only teach us so much, but it really is that self-education, that self-investment, investing in the courses, the mentors, the teachers, the guides, whatever it is, investing in that is what is going to separate you from the rest. It's what is going to get you forward and get you closer to where you want to be in life. And so it's so special for me to then be able to be on the other side of all of this and really just help people get to their next level, whatever that looks like for them. Everybody's different. And that is what this episode is going to be all about. So there's a reason why you may be struggling to figure out your purpose in life or feeling a little lost in navigating your direction. So you kind of just have no idea where your life is going. You're kind of just floating, going with the flow, taking it day by day, which is totally fine. I'm all for going with the flow, but I'm also all for having direction and clarity in ourselves and where we want to go. So if the last 2 years haven't been confusing enough for everybody, I think it's often easy to feel like we can start to lack on clarity on where we want to go in life. Or perhaps you have no idea where you even want to go, which it used to be me as well. Like we all have to start somewhere, right? So if any of this is resonating with you, then keep listening, because by the end of this episode, I'm going to help you find a solution to all of this. Today's episode is going to be how to start to find your identity and purpose in life. Now, bear with me. This is fun. This can sound quite big to digest and comprehend, but don't turn off the podcast yet, because keep listening, because I'm going to really just make it sound how it's a lot simpler than we may think. So by discovering your identity and purpose, first of all, I think we all need to discover this. We're on this earth for a reason. We need to discover what that purpose is in order for us to feel our most fulfilled and happy. So back in the day, maybe 1 to 2 years ago, before I really became the person who I am now, before I became the person I've always wanted to become, I lacked clarity. I lacked accountability. I lacked direction. Some things were going well, some things were going not so well. I knew I wanted more. And if you're new to this podcast, I want to say a big warm welcome. My name is Isabelle, and I'm really excited you chose to start somewhere with me. And I'm really just going to touch on my story recently so you can really just get an understanding of this podcast and this episode and where this whole journey is going. So I firstly want to say, just by pressing play, you are showing the commitment and dedication to yourself, and you are understanding the power of self-development. And that is exactly what all of my listeners are on this podcast. They are empowered women who understand the power of self-development, because this isn't for everybody. And I so know that. I so know that this is niche and not everybody is going to relate to this. And I am not scared or fearful of that at all. That really just doesn't affect me. I know that this will reach the people who it's supposed to reach. And I'm really grateful you chose to start summer with me today. And so I read this great quote, which really inspired me for today's episode. And it said, Education will make you money, but self-education will make you a fortune. And I think that is the truth tenfold. So within the past 18 months, I have invested in 3 incredible mentors. So one which I'm actually working with at the moment. So my first mentor, her name was Georgie Stevenson. You may have heard of her before. She's actually a really popular social media influencer, podcast host, business owner. She wears so many hats. She's such a powerhouse. And I got the opportunity to work really closely with her in 2020. And she actually helped me launch this podcast, which is crazy. She helped edit my content, start my social media, and so much more. I learned literally from the best, and I had the most successful launch I ever thought possible with my podcast. I did not think it would be as successful as it would be. I had the confidence and self-belief in myself, but I just didn't think it would be that successful. And I was looking back on it the other day, and I didn't realize how many people wanted and needed this type of content. And it felt so in alignment and in flow. Obviously it felt good because I had so many people tell me how great it was and really just assuring myself that this was the right thing. And so where I'm getting at here is by investing in her, by investing in her program, in her one-on-one coaching, it really just made me up level. It really just made me get to where I wanted to go faster. And that's what coaching is. Yeah, we can get there eventually, but do you want to get there fast? You are learning from somebody who is in a position that you want to be in. Maybe not exactly to a T in a position, but they emit some kind of qualities or status or job or whatever it is. They have something that you want. And so it only makes sense to learn from them. They can tell you everything not to do. They can share all of their mistakes, but they can also share everything that did work for them. And, the more we go through life, the more we filter out things that don't serve us, that don't work with us, and we're then able to share that with other people. And that's what mentors do. They share things that work for them or that don't work for them. And they are teachers, they're leaders, are guiding people to get to the level that they want to get to. And so after Georgie, next I invested in Carlo. So this was at the start of 2021. And Carlo helped me in a lot of areas. So Georgie was more kind of business mindset based. Carlo was a little bit more kind of spiritual, but also very business based as well. So he helped me hone in all the challenges I shared at the start of this episode. So he helped me find my passion even more. So I kind of knew what it was, but he really helped me expand it and discover it even more and made me fall in love with it. He helped me cultivate even more confidence and self-belief in myself. Remember, there's always room to grow. There's always room to improve. And I was like, yeah, I got this confidence thing down packed. I didn't. I had so much more work to do. Well, not that I had to do it, but I knew I wanted to do more of it. And so he helped me realize that. And then he helped me go through that. And he even helped me figure out my purpose, which I realized was laying right in front of me the whole time. Because I always say as well, like, what we need and want is right in front of us. We just have to look a little bit harder. We just have to get a little bit creative and just really start to kind of read through the lines and look at signs, and that is how we can discover this. However, the best thing I learned from all of this was the power of connection. Now, I've always loved connection and friendships and that kind of thing. I've realized I'm a very people person. I love being around my friends, being around people, meeting new people who are smarter than me, more successful than me. Like, I love just interacting with people because I feel I just learn so much. Maybe not necessarily they teach me, but I learn so much about myself just from how I am with people. And so I firstly worked one-on-one with him, and that was really transformative. However, he then kindly let me into his group, which is called the Conscious Blueprint. And in this group, I met 9 other incredible women, and these girls, they became such close and trustworthy friends. It's funny, like, yeah, it was an online course. Like, these girls were in other states in the country. However, despite that, every week we would spend time together talking and sharing what we're working on and what we're working through. And at first, this felt so uncomfortable to me to jump on Zoom and to talk to these people who I didn't even know and share sides of myself that I wasn't even really telling my friends. And I was like, I can't do this. This is too much out of my comfort zone. And it took me a while to become comfortable with it. However, I pushed through, and this is when I started to see the results. So back on touching on connection, I stayed with one of the girls that I met. Shout out to Danny if you're listening to this. When I went to Melbourne for Carlo's birthday earlier this year. So Carlo kindly organised my flights for me, and then I was able to stay with Danny, and she's an incredible, incredible woman. And it was just, she picked me up from the airport. I stayed at her apartment, hung out with her and her dog. Like, it's just, I never thought I would do that, but the fact I was able to make these friendships with people who have their arms open, and they're trustworthy, and they're just decent humans, and it's so powerful to have that in real life or online. And I was even planning to head over to Brisbane to celebrate one of the other girls' engagement parties, but COVID happened. So what I'm getting at here is when you're having fun, so when you're meeting people, you're connecting, you're having fun, you're learning all these really cool things about yourself and about other people, that's when your purpose and your passion comes into fruition, because you're aligning yourself with the right people who are also on this journey as well. So I was in this group of people who were quite similar, like-minded, but also vastly different. And that's what people are. We have some similar qualities, but we also can be completely different. And that's when we can learn so much, is when we are around people who are different to us. But then it also helps when people have kind of a similar mindset, if that kind of makes sense. And so what I'm getting at here is by having this, being surrounded in this tribe and having this group of like-minded people who are trustworthy, who you can talk to and you can let things out and they listen to you. It is so transformative and so powerful in what you see in yourself. So what I'm getting at here is by engaging in these conversations, listening to other people, what they're going through, what they're growing through, you won't realize how quickly your passion and your purpose will just fall into your lap. Everything will start to click because you are doing the work on yourself. You are working through all these blockages and all this resistance and fear that is holding you back. And that's exactly what the Conscious Blueprint is. It's this program, it's an 8-week program, and each week you go through different stages, and it's really about connecting back to yourself. Yet again, it goes back to connection. Yeah, we have connection with friends and awesome people, but it's the connection with ourselves that matters the most, because as soon as we are connected back to who we are, back to ourselves, our passion and our purpose will reveal itself, and we will feel more sure of our identity and where we're going in life and what to do next and where we want to go and what we want to achieve. And it's so crazy because I am now fulfilling one of my passions, what I believe is my purpose, which is to help people in a more mentor way. So the fact that Carlo approached me and he now wants me to be a mentor for his program is honestly such like a pinch me moment, because this was a purpose of mine and also a passion of mine that I really wanted to fulfill. And as soon as I started to show that connection, show that investment in myself, so dedicate time to myself, put money in improving and enhancing my self-education, like that shit is so powerful, opposed to buying a brand new iPhone or a fancy car. Investing in you as a person, like you're bringing yourself up, you are expanding yourself with knowledge and growth and such a wealth mindset. And by doing this, you don't understand how quickly opportunities are going to present themselves to you, because you are aligning yourself and you're getting yourself to the next level. So Carlo's coursework and gentle approach led me to the most beautiful spiritual and mental growth journey. I now feel so proud of myself and my journey, and I'm so excited to share it with the world. I always seem to have an endless list of amazing wins, incredible lessons, and huge realizations, which make me so excited for life. I would encourage anyone with a soft soul and open mind, but most importantly, the willingness to go deep in themselves and really just discover who they are, to start this program. This is what I wrote after doing the course, and I honestly think it just speaks for itself. So if you're looking to find more on navigating your direction and finding more clarity in where you're going in life, or perhaps you really just want to figure out what your purpose is, whether you have little or no idea. Some of us might just have like a tiny smidge idea. It could be really broad, it could be really faint, or maybe you got no clue whatsoever. It doesn't matter where you are at in your journey. Basically, if you are looking to create some epic connections, a really good connection with yourself, really awesome connections with like-minded people, then keep listening, because I'm going to give you just a teaser on how you can start to find all of these. So like I've said a lot already, clarity is absolutely everything. Clarity is your BFF, because if you know what you want, you are already halfway to achieving what you want. You don't understand, like, as soon as we kind of can figure out what it is that we want, we already have it. We are already able to align ourselves together. It's the figuring out part that's the hardest. And that's what this course brings. It brings this connection to ourselves, which then allows us to figure this stuff out. And I know this can be so tricky. It can be so overwhelming and so confusing, because this is exactly how I was feeling about everything. Purpose work. Your purpose can feel just as overwhelming, if not more. Like, it can be quite daunting to think, oh, like, am I on this earth for a reason? Like, what am I supposed to be fulfilling? And maybe you feel like you're just stuck living on autopilot. You're doing a job that maybe you hate, or maybe you kind of like, or you're like, yeah, it's okay, like, I'll put up with it. But come on, guys, we are destined for so much more than that. And whether you know what your purpose is or not, we all have something on our hearts that was placed there for a reason. So some of us discover it sooner than others. Some of us probably don't even discover it sometimes. And I honestly think those are the people who are just really not in tune or connected with themselves. And that's fine. This stuff isn't for everyone, like I said before. But you're tuning in, you're listening, you're following this podcast, you're following similar accounts like this for a reason, because you have this thirst, you have this interest in becoming the best version you. And I know the feeling of finding and then living your purpose. It honestly is true fulfillment. It feels so fun. I honestly think it's success, and success is happiness in my eyes. It's to be able to get up and spend your days doing what makes us feel alive. It's being able to figure out how we can get paid to do things that we are so passionate about. It can be so tricky to navigate this. It can be so overwhelming. Like, if you are battling with low confidence and low self-belief, like, I used to have both these things so much. I was constantly doubting and thinking, who am I? I had no confidence. I was so shy. I wasn't who I wanted to be. And whether you're consciously or you're subconsciously experiencing this, I think we all go through phases at time like this, which is completely normal. But know that there is a way to banish all of this for good. Like, we are able to banish and affirm and repel things that we don't want into our lives. Like, we are able to do that just as much as we are able to attract and manifest and bring in good stuff to our lives. Both are really powerful, and I think both are really essential to do. And lastly, connection. So I've already touched on this before, but connection, I think, is absolutely everything. Like, we as human beings, we thrive off connection. We thrive of, like, being in this tribe. If you look back in the day, like, we humans used to be in a tribe, and that's how they lived. That's how they lived together. And it's no different to how we are now. We think of social media, these communities, they're online tribes. It's your work crew, your friendship group, your family, like, they are all tribes. And we are supposed to be around these people. Like, we need this human interaction. And sometimes it can be hard if we're all very on different levels, different mindsets. There's disagreements, different, like, political views, like, all this type of bullshit that happens in normal everyday life. And just know that we can have it easy. We can have it comfortable. Like, we can have this group of people who feel like home in a way. Like, they just feel safe to talk to. And whether you do have disagreements on whatever it is, like, it doesn't matter, because you know that end of the day, they all have a similar intention and a similar purpose to you. My intention may not be the same as yours, and that doesn't matter. Like, but the point is, we need to surround ourselves by people who have those similarities, those similar values, those similar views and beliefs. And it doesn't have to be completely the same, but just some kind of similarity, because that's how we then feel accepted. And by having that feeling, having that security, it then allows us to kind of go forward in life and figure out more about ourselves and dabble and discover our passion and our purpose and fight our fears front on, because we know we have that security behind us. I know I talk a lot about being in the uncomfort zone, and that's where change happens, and 100% that's the truth. But we crave that comfort. We're human beings. We don't need to be in a flight or fight mode constantly. Like, we are allowed to feel relaxed and content around people in our life, because connection should soothe us. It should just complement our life. It shouldn't make us feel confused or self-doubt, or or ruin our stability or anything like that. I know I've had that before, like people who kind of just use and abuse your energy. They know you're a good person and they just use that to their advantage. And it's like, mate, what are you doing with yourself? Like go sort out your own demons first before, trying to bring somebody else down with your instability. And we need to surround ourselves with people who have similar intentions and values to us. And you may or may not have heard this before, but your income, your happiness, your mental health, it's a direct reflection on the 5 people you spend most of your time with. And if your circle is great, which I really hope it is, I know my circle is the best, I love my friends to pieces, or if you're looking to expand it, and there's always room for more like-minded people. I love meeting with new friends, but just know that this will lead to endless fulfillment. It'll lead to endless possibilities, and the more kind of interesting and new people you meet on your journey, on your life, the more you're going to learn more about yourself and really be able to connect further to your passion and your purpose and just discover more on your identity. Because it's so important to be around people who inspire you and motivate you and push you to do better, because this is where all the change happens. And that's such a big thing for me. I was talking to one of my fellows the other day and she was saying she wants to start prioritizing fun in her life. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the exact same. I feel like I am lacking that fun in my life. I'm too much in work mode at the moment. I'm not seeing my friends as much. Like I really need to make more of an effort to have that connection and to have that fun. The universe works fast when you're having fun. And every time I look back when I'm having such fun times in my life, I enjoy going to events and parties and going out with my friends. Like that's what I like to look at as fun. And when I'm doing all that type of stuff, that's when I notice the universe is working fast to give me what I want. I don't have to be in this work, hustle, hermit mode every single time. Like I don't have to do that all the time. I'm allowed to go out and have fun because you meet new people and you don't know where that is going to lead you. And of course, in 2021, even just life in general, I think the older we get, it's hard to meet people. It's hard to make friends. If you're not at uni or school or, you can't meet any more new friends at work, like it's hard. And that's where, we can go online. Like I think we need to take the stigma away. Like I've made some incredible friendships with people online, and whether I've met them in real life or not, the point is they're still human beings. They're just behind a phone. And I can meet them one day. Like what's stopping me? Once COVID stops, who knows? Like who knows where I'll go or what will happen? But the point is we can start now. We can start simple by joining these programs, joining these groups, finding this tribe online, because you just don't know where it's going to lead you. Like I mentioned before, one of the girls I met in the course, Danny, I got to stay with her in Melbourne. Like she so kindly hosted me, picked me up from the airport. Like we spent the day together. We got lunch together. Like I hung out with her and her dog. Like what? I just never would think that would happen. But that was somebody who I met online in this course who is kind and has this really warm and gentle intention, which matches mine, which is similar to mine. And it's funny, when I was doing these calls with everybody, we were all vastly different, but very similar. And I was constantly inspired by what everybody was sharing. Everybody had such a different personality and flavor to bring, but that's where excitement comes from. And I got so inspired by what everybody was sharing. It inspired me for so much of my podcast content. It really just opened my eyes to what people are struggling with and what people need more of. And you can kind of take whatever you want from it. Listening to somebody's success story is hopefully going to motivate you, or maybe listening to somebody's success story is going to give you an idea onto where you can follow through in life. The point is, you don't know what you're going to get out of it until you try it, because nothing changes if nothing changes. If you are really struggling with discovering your identity and your passion and your purpose, we need to start changing something in your life, like plain and simple. And it doesn't have to feel scary or daunting or like this big, intense investment. Like it's not like that at all. It's really just, it's putting yourself first. And I feel clarity. When you have clarity, you are your own best friend. And it's assuring yourself that you are your own best friend, that you are willing to invest what it takes in yourself, because you are the person who you have for the rest of your life. Boyfriends, girlfriends, they come and go. Friendships, they come and go. Family members, they come and go. Nobody is going to spend more time with you than you, and you need to be so comfortable and so okay with that. I mean, I used to not be for such a long time. I used to not feel comfortable or sure or certain of myself at all. I went through a phase where I didn't like myself for such a long time, and it's working through that. And the more we work through that, the more we strengthen this connection with ourselves, our passion and our purpose falls into our lap. The more we strengthen our connection with ourselves, and then we strengthen our connection with people around us, like, you just don't understand how quickly things just start to work out and flow in your life. And it's crazy. At the start of the year when I did this program, I was not the person who I am right now. I was close to getting there. I could feel it coming, but I knew there were so many blockages in my way. There was so much resistance, and that's exactly what I came to Carlo about. I was like, I can feel it. I know the person who I want to be. I can see it, but there's just so much blocking me right now. And it was just such little simple bite-sized things that we got to work through, and it became so fun. And just the experience I had along the way, it was honestly like something I never thought I would experience at all. Like, the fact I got to go to Melbourne as well, like hang out with all of his friends, go to his party, meet all these cool people. Like, I never would have experienced any of that if I didn't go on this program and meet these people. I never would have had this fun. And when all of this happened, there was just so much happening in my life. Everything was going so well. It was when I was starting my old job, and I was meeting so many more people and going out, and I was just enjoying myself so much. And that has continued on. I've been enjoying myself for so long. Like, of course I have days, but I've just continuously been enjoying myself because I'm constantly practicing and implementing everything that I learn in my day-to-day life. And I honestly think that is exactly why Carlo came to me, for me to be an official mentor of this program, because I am living, walking proof of the advantages and the benefits and the opportunities you get from this. Like, I got to live all of that. And if any of this is appealing to you, even the slightest, perhaps this is the program for you. If you really just want to start to figure out these things about yourself, allow yourself to take the bold step. Allow yourself to do something you've never done before. Nothing changes if nothing changes. That is just such a powerful, simple quote, because we all just have to start somewhere. We all have to start, and starting is often the hardest thing to do. But once we're doing it, it's a lot easier than we think, but it's just the start. It's the resistance that we feel. And so just know, even if just the smallest bit of what I've shared has got your head nodding, maybe it's lit your eyes up, or it's got you feeling the smallest bit of hope or inspiration, then perhaps this is your sign to start to take that bold leap, that bold investment in yourself that is going to come back tenfold. I can't express that enough. Like, getting your hair done or buying a nice outfit, like, what is that going to give you? Make you feel good for a bit, but you don't understand, like, literally investing in your growth, in your mindset, in your like creating a wealth mindset. You are becoming an abundance for knowledge. You don't understand the experiences and the opportunities and the satisfaction it's going to give you until you experience it. And once you do, you are going to be like, how did I not do this sooner? It really just aligns you to where you're going to be in life. You can do this stuff in your own time, but don't you want to get there a little bit faster? So I will be hosting my own private coaching container. This is going to be a safe space. I'm going to make it strictly women only, for any open-minded, soft soul woman. This is for you. I do have very, very limited spaces available. And if you are interested, send me an Instagram DM at startsomewhere.podcast and let me know you're ready to start. But be quick, because like I said, spaces are very limited. This is quite exclusive. We are only allowing a certain number of people into the program. We do already have quite a few spots filled, which is insane. But the program starts on November 1st. There will be so much more info and all the deets and all the fun stuff on my Insta. But if you are ready to join, shoot me a DM at startsomewhere.podcast. I'll also include the link to my Instagram in the show notes. And I look forward to creating magic with a select group of empowered females. And I really hope that's you. So if you got to the end of this episode, thanks so much for sticking around. I appreciate you. And if you're new to the podcast, I know we do have quite a few new listeners. Thank you for starting with me. I appreciate it, and I'm keen to go on this journey with you as well.